Good morning if you're in the UK.
Good morning!
Welcome to the third of 4 concerts in my Not the UK tour series. As you probably know by now, I was supposed to be touring the UK for 6 weeks.
And who are you?
And my name is Jay Turner.
Jay Turner!
I was going to tell him, this is Catherine Mundy, the mouthy one. Yeah, I was supposed to be in the UK, but of course COVID has shut all of that down. So we decided we would do a series of concerts from our own front room. So how about that, from our front room to your front room. The third of the 4 concerts is celebrating, or at least introducing anyway, my album Atmavictu, which was released in 1991.
Which is before some of us were born.
It is before some of us.
Not me, not me.
No.
I was around.
Nor me.
Nor you.
No. So we'll start the whole proceedings off with the first song that came on the album, and that was a song called Everything's Okay. And it was written, in fact, on the narrow gauge railway running across the Romney Marshes in the UK, in Kent. I went off for a bit of a trip one day between gigs, and for some unknown reason this came to me. I still have no idea why. It's called Everything's Okay. Well, I was walking along minding my business just the other day, when much to my surprise I met myself coming the other way. Well, it was a shock, and it must have showed by the lopsided grin on my face, 'cause he said to me, fancy meeting you at this time and in this place, but everything's okay. You trip, you stumble and you fall. Everything's okay. There's nothing to worry about at all. Well, it was kind of strange, I had to concede. It's not often that you meet yourself. Anticipating my very next line, he said, ah, what the hell. All of this is very simply explained. It's probably just deja vu. The question is really, are you following me? Or have I been following you? But everything's okay. You trip, you stumble and you fall. Everything's okay. There's nothing to worry about at all. Quite apart from the fact that we met face to face, the whole idea didn't scan. I mean, we both heard of being beside yourself and not being another man. What about schizophrenia, he said, and I had half a mind to agree. There didn't seem much point in arguing when he looked like he could get ugly. But everything's okay. You trip, you stumble and you fall. Everything's okay. There's nothing to worry about at all. I know, he said, it's all a massive mistake. And I said, this could be a dream. And then he told me that his love life hadn't been too hot. And I said, that sounds familiar to me. Well, none of this was getting us anywhere fast, so we decided that we'd just give up. So he had a drink and I had a drink, and we both wished each other good luck. 'Cause everything's okay. You trip, you stumble and you fall. Everything's okay. There's nothing to worry about at all. Then there didn't seem to be much more to say, since we agreed on everything. From the time in the morning that you like to get up, and the songs that we prefer to sing. So we parted company, he and I, good pals and perhaps wiser men. And I mean this in the nicest possible way. I hope I don't meet him again, 'cause everything's okay. You trip, you stumble and you fall. Everything's okay. There's nothing to worry about at all. Everything's okay. You trip, you stumble and you fall. Everything's okay. There's nothing to worry about at all. There's nothing to worry about at all. There's nothing to worry about at all. very much indeed. Kath's going to do a...
I'm going to do the acknowledgement of country.
Yeah.
I'm kneeling at the altar of the iPhone, and Jay has been very considerate and given me a cushion because last concert I had extremely sore knees after being down here. Hello, welcome to everybody. This is the time of the night where we do our acknowledgement of country. So this is where we say our respects to the traditional custodians of the land on which we live and where we meet and gather tonight. The Yugambeh people are the traditional custodians of this land, and we are very grateful that we are able to live here in this beautiful country, Jagigun Jagun in the Yugambeh language. Beautiful country. So with that acknowledgement, we also want to pay our respects to the elders, Indigenous elders and non-Indigenous elders from the past, those here in the present, and those of us emerging as elders into the future. And I want to say a big welcome to everybody who's here tonight. We have a wonderful live audience. We've got 11 people here tonight. Fantastic to have actual people in the room who will laugh at our jokes and do, awesome clicking, guys. You were so good, really. They know their twos from their fours and their ones from their threes. And all these lovely people who are here online. So a big welcome to Cheryl down in Melbourne. Hello, Cheryl. Barbara Glanville in the UK. Hello again, Barbara. Helen Forbes, who's in our With One Voice Brisbane choir. Nakina Atkins, also from our Brisbane choir. Hello. Daphne from Mixed Beans, our multicultural choir. And my cousin Alan Burge, who's an amazing bass guitarist, double bass player in the jazz scene. Hello to you, Alan. And Fran Stanfield in the UK says, hello, Fran. She's a wonderful old friend of ours. Great to have you on my TV. Terry sends his apologies. He's on the garage roof. Replacing it before the rain comes for winter. Oh yes, you want to get that roof fixed. Missed having you here in Netley Marsh last weekend. Jay was meant to be performing a gig for Fran. She promotes wonderful concerts in her area, Southampton, on the south coast of England. So thank you for being with us tonight in lieu of that concert, Fran. And Stevie Geegan, we're going to be talking about you, Stevie, later on, because Stevie is one of the original musicians who performed on Atmavictu. She did backing vocals on a number of songs with her husband, Keith. Hello, Stevie. It's great to have an original musician from the 1991 album there. Oh, Hayley said, ha ha, Jay, burn. That must have been something that we did earlier. So, hello to you, Hayley, from our Brisbane choir. James Thompson, hello, James. Stevie says, yeah, great, found you. Great to see you again. Everything's okay. Yeah. Enjoying. She's telling us what she's having for breakfast. She's having a bacon butty, which is a very traditional English breakfast. I hope you're enjoying that. And she's enjoying the music. Thank you, Stevie. Laura from Broadstairs in the UK. Hello, Laura. And James Eisner from Cambridge in the UK. Hello, James. We also have Jan Breeze, who I know is also in the UK. Thank you for coming again. This is your second concert from Swindon, you are. Oh, hello to Swindon. Good morning, Swindon. Peter Snell, hello, Peter. Good to have you. And Leanne is finally able to log in. Leanne Dobson from our Mixed Beans and Freedom Train choirs. Hello, Leanne. Great to have you. Nakina says, when he called you the mouthy one, Kath. Ha, 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 ha. It's all fun and games here. We're just joking. We do actually really like each other. And
What's your name again?
That's my line. And we just had Tammy Stoddart join us. So hi to Tammy. All right. So it's over to Mr. What's your name? Jay Turner.
He's very cheeky. Actually, I have a funny little story to tell you about how you were clicking so well. Fantastic. Those finger pops are absolutely fantastic. I always struggled on the folk scene because in the UK, because the folk scene is divided almost. It's not quite in half, but there are traditional clubs and there are contemporary clubs. And I did fine at the contemporary clubs, but I always wanted to expand my business space. So I remember trying to get a gig in Barnsley Folk Club. Barnsley. And they said that they wanted to expand their horizons, so they would book me, and they booked me. And I thought to myself, well, this is great. Traditional clubs, they do a lot of unaccompanied singing, so I thought what I'll do is I'll open with that song because it's unaccompanied. I thought I'll get them on side, you know. So anyway, I sort of said, okay, what I want you to do is click your fingers. So I started clicking, and they started clicking out of time with me and each other. So I said, wait a minute. I said, look, you've all got to click in time with me. And there was an old chap right at the back who had a walking stick, and he went, he's Becky and T. And the evening went. Anyway, Atmavictu is a Jungism. It comes from Carl Jung. It's to be found in a book of his called Memories, Dreams and Reflections, which was available on Flamingo paperbacks back in the 90s. And it was his term for the font of man's creativity, what he called the breath of life. The album was recorded during May 1991 at Sound Services Studio, Broad Oak, Herefordshire, with Dave Wood, again engineering and co-producing as he had with my previous albums. The musicians involved in alphabetical order of their last names. Paul and Glenn Elliott, who played Barans on Ghost Dancing.
The wonderful Irish drums,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Pete and Stevie Geegan doing the backing vocals on Ghost Dancing, and Stevie did the backing vocals on Cod The Caplin. Chris Leslie of Fairport Convention, a fabulous fiddler, played a 5-string Zeta violin on Night on the Town and Truly Beautiful. Chris Morton, who is a champion flat picker, he played banjo on Ghost Dancing. Bernard O'Neill of Zumzo played bass throughout, and they put hand claps and cowbell on Love Millionaire and cello on Truly Beautiful. He was a big contributor to this album, was Dear Bernard. Paul Richards played harmonica on Truly and the Generation Whistle on Cod The Caplin.
I've never heard of a generation
I've never heard one as well.
before. What's a generation whistle?
I think it was just a tin whistle, but he wanted to make it sound more important.
Next generation.
Next generation. It was, yeah, we won't go there. And the wonderful Anna Ryder, a multi-instrumentalist, she played French horn on Brighton Movies, which I thought was really cool, you know, on the folk scene to get a French horn in it. Oh, yeah.
Anna is an amazing singer-songwriter as well. She's incredible.
Yeah, you try and catch hold of some of
Anna
her work. Anna Ryder. Terry Sager, she played congas on the Cod and the Caplin, as she had done on the previous album. She played on a couple of different tracks there. Rick Sanders of Fairport Convention played fiddle on A Night on the Town, Truly and Crazy Over You. And the cover photos were by Penny Goff and Vic Herbert. So there you go.
I wanted to talk about So, Jay, tell them about this cover photo.
That was taken with me singing at...
Is that you, really?
Yeah. It was a bit blurry, so I didn't know whether everybody could see. But that was me playing on the acoustic stage at Glastonbury.
And what about the photo on the back?
And that was me on Main Stage 1 at Cambridge Festival in 1990.
And something I've realised is that these copies of the old albums are ones that you gave to me when we were first courting more than 25 years ago. So it actually is an inscription on this one to me. It says, "To Kathy, my breath of life, with tons of love, 26th of June 1995, Jay." No, I'll treasure that.
It might be the only copy left. I don't know.
Exactly.
Buried in the vault somewhere. All right, we're going to carry on with the Cod and the Caplin. Back in 1990, the fishing industry was in trouble in the UK especially, and the wonderful rich fishing grounds up in the Barents Sea, which is up by the Arctic Circle, traditionally where the fishermen went to get cod and caplin, smaller fish, and the factory ships that had been coming in from Japan and from other places had basically fished the whole place out. And it seemed to me that man was yet again getting himself into an awful lot of trouble by trying to progress beyond his capabilities. And so I wrote this one. It was sort of a sort of an indictment of the way we go if we keep making everything mechanical. What are we going to do? Okay, the Cod and the Caplin. You ready?
Yep, you start.
Fisherman's nest where the herring used to be. And the factory ship on the horizon still plunders endlessly. When will we learn? When will we learn? When will we learn?
going to sneak in here again. Sorry to get up close and personal. The unpleasant part of the night when Cath gets in your face. Sorry?
If only we had 2 cameras.
If only. But I just wanted to see if there were any other people who joined us and make sure that you've all been welcomed. Now, I just have to get back in time to find the last... Okay, that's when Nikki said about me being called the mouthy one by my husband. All right, Nick. Hello to Nick Hall in the UK. Nick is a wonderful singer and songwriter and guitarist. It's lovely to have you again, Nick. And Nikina says she likes our wall hanging in the background. It's very cool. It's really nice when you see it up close. You can't really see the detail in it, but it's a lovely wool. It's got lovely weavings in it and everything. It was given to us by our friend Jen Furlong, who was here for the Passion Roulette concert. And Nigel Turner is here. Hello, Nigel. Yay!
Welcome.
Nigel is Jay's first cousin on his Turner side, and we only discovered Jay's Turner side in the early 2000s. So Nigel, we just love you, and we're so glad that we have you in our life. It's so great to have the Turner family in our lives. You're all gorgeous people. Mandy from Freedom Train Choir. Hey, Mandy, who is also my hairstylist. Yes, she does my hair. Thank you, Mandy. And Julie Jules from Freedom Train Choir. Hello. Oh, and Nigel says something interesting. He says that the Cod and the Caplin, the song that Jay just sang, is very relevant. As always, more than £160 million worth of the English fish quota is in the hands of vessels owned by companies based in Iceland, Spain, and the Netherlands, thanks to a practice known as quota hopping. When will we learn indeed? Hello to Lisa Dickinson, who was our yoga teacher when we lived in the UK. Hi, Lisa. So good to have you. I was very pregnant when I did my last classes with you. And hello to James. Oh, James is saying that my face is lovely. I think he means mine. Thank you, James. You can stay. So Lisa's actually at work, and she just wanted to say hi while she was at work. Thank you for taking a little moment out of your work day, Lisa, to say hello. And Melanie Hannon from Mixed Beans is also here. Hi, Melanie. All right.
Okay.
Oh, my knees are still hurting, though.
Are they still hurting?
Yes.
I'll have to try and work out a different way of
I
doing
might
that.
need knee pads next time.
Okay.
This is an extreme sport, live streaming.
Get some of those floaties.
That's right, yeah, we need the proper pants. Yeah. Actually, I've got some downstairs that I've left over from laying this floor.
Oh, that's good.
They're not very becoming, but...
No. I'm
Okay.
joking.
Cath is, as you saw, playing the keyboard, but in actual fact she's replicating the bass lines that Bernard O'Neill... Very nice. That Bernard O'Neill put on this album for various different songs. This one's called Walk In. Won't somebody tell me how I got in this condition? Looking for love, oh yeah, looking for love. Walking all night, looking for love. There's a face at the window and he's looking at me, framing the question, why can't I see when I'm looking for love? Oh yeah, looking for love. Walking all night, looking for love. And I go, whoa, 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 whoa. I go, whoa. I neglected to ask, or a whole brand concept that invaded my grasp. One dark doorway that I walked. oh, oh, oh. I'm walking, still looking for love. I'm walking, still looking for love. I'm walking, still looking for love. I'm walking. Thanks very much indeed. As I was travelling around doing gigs, and because the first 2 albums had gone pretty well, and I'd managed to pick up a good few bookings. But as I was going around, I was meeting wonderful artists on the folk scene, notable guitarists, especially people like Martin Alcock, who was just a genius, probably
At just about every instrument.
just everything he picked up he could play. It was just daunting. But he was also a very lovely man. Sadly passed away just last year, so we miss Mart. But he introduced me to this next tuning, which is, I used this a couple of times, and then I realised that if I was going to keep trying to get into this tuning, I needed another guitar. Any excuse?
And that's why we have 3 guitars here tonight in the room
And
being
it's
used.
still not quite enough, but there we are.
Never enough guitars, never.
It's a very rich tuning. It goes from the bottom C right the way up to the top C, and it makes the guitar sound like an orchestra. Amazing sound. And so I started being influenced by these wonderful players, and my writing, of course, was then influenced by the tunings that I was in. It makes everything sound that bit different. Around the time, there was a new law had been passed in the UK, a new tax. It was called the bedroom tax. And the bedroom tax.
They had a window tax back in Jane Austen's era.
That's right.
Didn't
Well,
they? And then a lot of people ended up bricking up their windows.
the windows so they didn't have to pay it. Well, in this particular case, the bedroom tax was aimed initially at people who were putting up borders in their homes to make extra money because they couldn't live on what they'd got. But actually, the effect that it had was that if you had anybody in your house over the age of 18, you had to pay a tax on them, and that included your own children. And that is still in place today, 30 years later. Incredible that the people have put up with it, that they have. In that particular time, it meant that homelessness hit a new high. And
particularly of the young.
People who couldn't, their parents couldn't afford to keep them at home if they were going to pay a tax. So they said, all right, off you go and sleep with some friends or do whatever, and they ended up homeless. And if you went to London, you could drive through the streets around 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and find whole cardboard cities where people were using cardboard boxes to sleep and try and keep the cold out. Just recently, there's been another idiot politician who's decided that it might be a nice idea now.
Jay, tell us how you really feel.
In the UK, who's decided that it might be a really good idea, if you find a person in a doorway, sleeping in a doorway, you should fine them.
Oh.
How they would do that, how they would pay the fine is another matter entirely. I've got a different take on this sort of thing. I think that every time a homeless person is found in a doorway, a politician should have to sponsor them so that they have somewhere to live. And it should be in at least 4-star accommodation. And I bet you that there would be a rapid decline in the 112,000 people now homeless in the UK, 67,000 of them in the streets of London. It hasn't changed in 30 years. I wrote this in 1991. It's called A Night on the Town. Have you seen the makeshift town in the heart of this dark city? Tens of thousands of our children living without mercy. You and I, we just roll by, but how can we ignore the makeshift town in the heart of the city when it's listen, if only they think about the makeshift town. There's a makeshift town. Oh yeah. Two streets along, it's a different song, and the mink and the tuxedos glide. The chandeliers glisten and the limousines swing. Only they listen, if only they think about the makeshift town. There's a makeshift town. Well, there's a makeshift town in the heart of the city, and they build it up every night. Tens of thousands without a shelter, acting misty right. Young and old, they pay the price for thoughtless legislation. In the sight of box outside of your door, at the very heart of the nation. There's a makeshift town. There's a makeshift town. There's a makeshift Thank you very much. So I don't have to get out of this tuning and do anything else. We might carry on with another song that was inspired by the tuning. This was one of the songs that dear Ricky Sanders came and played on, utilising his incredible jazz style of playing violin. And Kath is going to have to replace the entire band. I'll show you the band. Actually,
Rick didn't play in the live band. He
didn't
just
play
came
in the
into
live
the
band.
studio.
Yeah,
But
came
oh
into the
my
studio.
gosh, he's an incredible musician.
I'll show you the T-shirt from the actual promotional tour for the album. In actual fact, what happened was that the album was released in 1991, and I was doing so well, people were approaching me and saying, "You need management," and I went, "Yeah, I do, because you know it's all hard work that, and I just want to go out and play." I ended up calling the people I got the damagement, because the promotional tour that was meant to set this album on fire, they basically dropped the bat, and it never happened. So I spent the rest of 1991 trying to get a tour for 1992 together, and the impetus, of course, of my career at that point stalled pretty badly. But here is the T-shirt from the 1992 tour that I managed to put together. There you go. It's got the wonderful Martin Alcock and dear old Bernard O'Neill on there, the J. Turner
Bernard
band.
played bass, double bass, and
Martin played everything else.
Everything else.
And it's quite a good tour. Look, it's art centres and.
So in September, the 19th, he was at York Art Centre. The 24th at the Maltings Art Centre in Berwick-on-Tweed.
Southport Arts Centre on the 25th. Jackson's Lane Community Centre in Archway in London on the 26th. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Then in October, you went to Paul Robson Theatre in Hounslow, the Gantry Art Centre as an Amnesty International benefit. That would have been your gig, Fran Stanfield, Southampton.
Then the Mill Theatre at Banbury, which was always a wonderful little venue to go and play, just fabulous.
Yes, we played there. We launched our Crooked House album.
Yeah, the Albert Hotel in Bristol.
No, the Albert Hole.
Oh, the Albert Hole, that's right.
The Albert Hole in Bristol.
It wasn't.
It's a joke.
Yes.
It was a lovely pub called the Albert Hole.
But I don't think.
So we can say that we played the Albert Hole.
The Albert Hole, yeah, that's right. And it was very famous, actually. People queued up.
Played there a number of times.
Blackfriars Art Centre in Boston, the Cross Keys Inn, Upton in Newark.
In Newark.
Near Newark, yep. the Guildhall Theatre, Derby, Armory Hall, Newnham in Gloucestershire, Limelight Theatre in Aylesbury, look, it's all very flash, and the Nettlebed Folk Club. Gee, they only booked me because I had Mart on the... But that was all right, it was good enough, and we had a good night, so that was wonderful. So there you go.
Back in the mists of time.
Back in the mists of
Before
time.
you met me.
Yeah, BC. Before Catherine.
All right, let's do this.
It's called Crazy Over You. Well, I'm hotter than a fire and I'm colder than ice. I wrestle with confusion and submit to compromise. Got a case of hypertension that's tearing me in two, and I think I'm going crazy over you. I'm fumbling with my street map, standing naked in a crowd. There's a train wreck on my main line and a traffic jam in town. I'm a hopeless navigator on a ship without a crew, and I think I'm going crazy over you. Your every waking moment and your every broken dream. You're a party in the penthouse and a bomb in the mezzanine. I rationalize, philosophize, and seek sanctuary in booze. I might as well give in, 'cause there's nothing left to your every waking moment and your every broken dream. You're a party in the penthouse and a bomb in the mezzanine. I rationalize, philosophize, and seek sanctuary in booze. I might as well give in, 'cause there's nothing left to lose. Somebody call the doctor. Someone drive me to the shrine. This volcano that just started, well, got me on the brink. I'm an eagle on a mountain and a monkey at the zoo, and I think I'm going crazy. Think I'm going crazy. I think I'm going crazy over you. Thanks very much indeed.
Saying another quick hello to anyone who's joined us. I think we have some non-Facebook people on here. I have given detailed instructions so that people who are not on Facebook can actually watch this, but I can't see when they're on here. So I'm going to say hello to Pam and Oliver, our dear friends in Banbury, Oxfordshire. We hope that you're watching. We love you and miss you. We were really looking forward to being able to see you when we got over to the UK. So hopefully next year, hey? Fran is talking about the gig in 1992 at the Gantry in Southampton. It was a sellout, she says, and they made £1,000. This is a lot of money in 1992 for Amnesty International through ticket sales, curry lunches, and with 10 kilos of rice donated by our Amnesty supporting Asian community, raffle tickets and sale of Amnesty International goods. Jay put his Folk for Freedom on the calendar for 10 years. AIS, I'm not quite sure. Folk for Freedom was the concert that you organised annually, wasn't it, for Amnesty International Southampton, AIS. And for 10 years that concert ran annually and it raised lots of money for Amnesty International. Great memories. Yeah. Sylvia and Graham Underwood over in Victoria Point, not far from here. Hi, Sylvia and Graham. Anne Brown, who has been in Mixed Beans and Freedom Train, our local choirs. Good to have you, Anne. And also my cousin Stephen Hart, and we worked out what it is exactly. You are my father's first cousin, thus you're my second cousin. Have we got it right? Do we get it right? It's good to have you, Stephen. Oh, I'll put this cowbell away.
See, she can't wait to get on the cowbell. 1991 was a hard year for me. It marked the 10th anniversary of the fact that my children were taken out of the UK illegally by my ex-wife as a vengeful act on her part, and I wasn't able to find them for about 3 or 4 years. When I finally managed to get through to them, I wrote a letter to my daughter, and I received one back, and it was just it was kind of heartbreaking in a way, and I wanted to reply to her and give her reassurance that I would always be there, even though she couldn't be in my life. Now I have been able to rekindle a little bit of an online relationship with her, which is fantastic from time to time. My son I have never been able to reclaim. So this is, when it happened to me, I was in real bad shape for about 5 years, but the first year was really, really serious, and I had no idea where they were in the world. And I rang up an organisation which was to help men who are in just exactly the same situation as me, but domestic breakdown. And I rang the guy, and he said hello, and I told him my name, and he said, "What's your story?" And I told him, and he went, "Oh yeah. And I got halfway through the story, and I said, "Look, this is really hard for me." I said, "But you just sort of seem to be taking it as if it's nothing." I said, your response is just like as if it's ordinary." And he said, "But mate, I hear this every day." He said, "To me, it is ordinary." He said, "The statistics are these. By the time a year goes by after a domestic breakdown, 60% of men have lost contact with their children. By the time 2 years has gone, that figure goes up to 80. He said, "I'm sorry to say, you're just part of a huge statistic." I wrote a letter to Amber this morning. I didn't quite know how to start. All of the desperation of 10 long years apart. She doesn't know what to call me. She won't even send regards. This morning I wrote her a letter, and it almost broke my heart. It broke my heart. And Amber has a younger brother, but he doesn't dare mention me, 'cause they taunt him and they call him Englishman, as if it's something bad to be. And the last time that I saw him, a stranger held him, it seems, and he looked back over his shoulder, and I still see his eyes in my dreams, in my dreams. Ain't it funny how it happens, the way life sometimes goes? One mistake leads to another, all Now their mother says she doesn't hate me. It's the children that don't want to know. So just keep on sending the money, but kindly leave them alone. She knows that she holds all the power. She knows I don't stand a chance. I'm the victim of a victim, and we're all victims of circumstance. Ain't it funny how it happens, the way life sometimes goes? One mistake leads to another, almost before you know. Now they tell me that the kids will come and find me when they're curious and old enough. But it's been so long and tortuous, and we barely keep in touch. So I live without expectation. Well, it helps me to bear the pain. I'm just part of a huge statistic. Just call me the man with no name. The man with no name. Ain't it funny how it happens, the way life sometimes goes? One mistake leads to another, almost before you know. Ain't it funny how it happens, the way life sometimes goes? One mistake leads to another, almost before you know. Almost before you know. Almost before you know. Thanks very much indeed. Okay, a bit more liveliness I think is required.
I have another hello to a relative. I love that we've got family members coming in. We've got Kathy and Andrew Smith. So this is Jay's first cousin Andrew on his mother's side, and I think the only relative that you have living in Australia, is that right? He emigrated to Australia when he was a child, well before you. And we didn't really know the Smiths until we were touring down to Canberra, where you guys live, and we got to stay with you and got to know you, and it's just a joy to have you in our lives. Thank you, Kathy.
Hey. And Andrew's a fantastic artist.
He is.
Yeah,
He's a beautiful artist. Where did I put my cowbell? Am I allowed to use the
Oh.
cowbell? Can I play the cowbell now?
You can play the cowbell. Oh, dear.
It's just it's a bit of a running joke that we have to have a cowbell song on in every concert, don't we? At least one. And I think I might get 2 in this concert, yeah? So my quota's going up. I'm winning. This is a new song.
This is a new song, that's right.
Relatively.
It's going to be,
Written last year.
I wrote it last year,
Yeah,
that's right.
in July.
Hopefully we're going to be putting it on my next album, 2020. It'll be called.
It'll come out in 2021. It'll come
Probably
out
will.
2021.
That's right, that'll be the joke, won't it? Well, nothing's happening this year, is it? Let's face it.
2020 was cancelled.
This one came about because of a documentary that I saw, which was made by Greenpeace. And Greenpeace are a fairly truthful bunch. And it was a fairly shocking documentary. I guess it was...
Can I find it? Shall I Google it?
You could Google it and find out what it's called. It was, I guess, the concern is that we've got climate change upon us. And it's going to be a rough ride for us, even if we manage to keep our temperatures down to 1.5 to 2 degrees above what we've got them now. Of course, the fossil fuel industry doesn't really help us in that way. We know that carbon emissions from coal-powered power stations and from cars and all that sort of thing are going to be causing us greater trouble as we go on.
I think it was called Dirty Power.
Dirty Power.
Okay, I'm just going to share that link in the comments section here.
Good on you.
Post, yeah.
All right, Dirty Power. And in the film, it showed very clearly the web of collusion between the government and the fossil fuel industry. The fossil fuel lobby is very strong, very powerful, very financial, and the proceeds from that are really quite beneficial if you get into bed with them, as so many politicians have. So you can, until there's a change of government, change of attitude, you can't look forward to seeing any renewables being used in Australia, even though we have more sun than anybody else, more wind than anybody else, and actually more coastline than anybody else. So I sort of watched this, and I just thought this documentary was great. I wanted to write something so that I could perhaps support people who were trying to stop coal mines like Adani from happening, and that sort of thing.
Where did I put my cowbell?
Where'd you put your cowbell? You lost it now.
I lost my cowbell
No, here we
again.
are. Here we are, look.
Can't keep hold of it.
So,
And just before we do this song, I'm going to give a shout out to our lovely friend Martin, who is up in Scotland. Hello, Martin.
Hey, Martin. Okay,
Shall we go?
let's do it. Well, the coal lobby's got 'em, and the fix is in. Both sides of the floor all sticky with sin. They got the treacle on their fingers and their hands in the bin. And our future's been bought and sold for the sake of black gold. Dirty money, yeah, black gold. Dirty money, Australia's got the sea, the wind and the sun. And the whole wide world knows we should be number one. But the web of collusion is so strongly spun that renewables are on hold for the sake of black gold. Everybody sing, dirty money, yeah, black gold. Dirty money, Maris, Reinhardt, Abbott and Price, Andrews, Joyce, Kelly and Abetz, all making millions from the tissue and lies, perpetuated by the Murdoch press. Black gold, dirty money, yeah, gold. Dirty money, Taylor, McConnell, Catlin and Hunt, Morrison, Kunkel, Frydenberg and Giles, pushed by Crosby, Texter from the back to the front, diverting our taxes into bundles and piles. Into black gold, dirty money, yeah, black gold. Dirty money, we've got to stop Adani or the rest will come. We'll have a sky full of pollution and a future that's gone. And the history books will say if the truth is told whenever you see one of these guys on television telling you the reasons why we should all be using coal for the foreseeable future, remember he's got a vested interest. All those names on that song have got a vested interest.
Documentary,
Yeah, watch the documentary. It's very, very revealing. Okay, I think we'll do this one. Truly beautiful.
Time for a love song.
Time.
We do love our love songs. Just checking in on people. Haley says, yes! And Nikki says, yup. Oh, and that was preceded by Haley going, dirty money? Yes! Thank you, Haley and Nikki. Bo Horton from With One Voice Brisbane is here. Hi, Bo! Good to have you. I hope I haven't missed anyone out. Sometimes I don't see someone and then they pop up later on. Di Lettuce. Hello, Di. How are you? Good to have you here. Haven't missed anyone else out. It's very difficult when you've got to... Oh, here I found somebody else. Carl and Betty watching and loving the show. Hello, Carl and Betty. So nice to see you. And Nick said something that I agree with wholeheartedly. More cowbell. More cowbell. What else can we say? Barbara is sharing a memory. She says, I'm remembering the first time I watched you with my daughter at Cottingham Folk Club. Yes, up in Yorkshire. We love the Cottingham Folk Club, and Mike and Val, who ran it for years, we used to have wonderful jam sessions with you after every gig. We'd stay over at your house. Next morning we'd get up, have a quick brekkie and straight into the music room, and we'd play more of Mike's wonderful tunes. Mike is a beautiful musician, Mike and Val, and Mike was writing prolifically for fiddle, and he had written books and books and books of fiddle tunes. So he would say, Kath, come here, come and play my fiddle tunes. I could read music, so he wanted somebody who could read them out of the book. And oh my gosh, we just had so much fun doing that. We remember those days too. Great memories, says Barbara, and support you always. Thank you. Oh, lovely. All right, it's time for a love song. Oh, and also to say hello to Patricia Serafina Ham. Hello, Patricia. And Doug. Hello, Doug Hankinson. I don't know you, Doug. It seems like everybody here I do know, but not everyone. But welcome to you. It's very good to have you here. All right, over to Jay.
When my life's a cage, you are my release. When I have been trying, you're so easy to please. And you've been my lighthouse in the stormiest of seas. You are truly, truly, truly beautiful to me. Sometimes you're my anchor, sometimes you are my wheel, sometimes you're my shelter, and sometimes the pain I feel. But you have stood beside me when no one held the key. Yes, you are truly, truly, nights we loved all through. Truly, 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 there's no one as beautiful as you. I struggle with ambition, chasing some elusive prize. But when I seek perfection, I always find it in your eyes. You're not my reflection. No, 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 that you'll never be. For you are truly, truly, truly beautiful to me. Yes, you are truly, truly, truly beautiful to me.
And if you're enjoying the concert and you just happen to come across us on Facebook, this concert is by donation, so we do appreciate if you can make a contribution towards keeping live music going. Whatever you can afford. It's been a really rough year for everybody, but the arts and events have been extremely affected. We have hardly done any performances this year, and most of the time it's been online. So yeah, it's been a very strange year for artists. So we do appreciate your support of artists. Thank you very much to the people here in the room and to all of you there who are supporting us.
Thank you.
I do think that during the pandemic, it's been shown to us how important the arts are for keeping our souls together. You know, where we are not just creatures that need food and water. We need our souls fed. And music and dance and storytelling, theatre, visual art, all of these things enrich our souls and give us the purpose and the meaning to our lives. So without the arts, I actually think that we would die. So it's really, really essential that we keep our artists going.
Yeah, that's right. Mr. Morrison, take note.
Would you like some water?
I've just had some, thank
Oh,
you.
good. Oh,
I have.
I drank out of your bottle.
Yeah, I know, I saw that. That's
We,
right. I need yours.
we live in the same household, so it's all right.
1990 was the 100-year anniversary of an act of betrayal in the United States that resonated through my experience of Australia. Because there are so many parallels between what happened to the Indigenous people in America and what happened to the Indigenous people in Australia once white settlement started. And in this particular case, the Indian nations, as they were called, were being subjugated and being decimated by the American government, and it was a ritual thing. In this particular case, the Sioux Nation had been reduced from once proud warriors to basically just a few people in the Lakota tribe who had not been yet arrested, but the braves, the warriors, were all incarcerated. And in this particular case, there was an encampment of Lakota Indians in a place called Wounded Knee. There, as I say, there were no warriors. There were only old men, children, mothers and babies. And they were surrounded by the US cavalry. There was a flag of truce, and they were expecting to be taken off to reservations somewhere. The particular tribe was, I think, and it wasn't only them, it was a Sioux tradition, that when they felt overwhelmed and unable to control their destiny, then they would dance. They would dance a dance called the ghost dance. They would call upon their ancestors in the sky to come down and to help them, protect them from what was going on. And in this particular case, they did invoke that because of the hopelessness of their situation. But it didn't do them any good, because they weren't the first nor the last to discover that simple prayer and dance cannot stop a bullet. And the 100-year anniversary was marked by the remnants of the Sioux Nation managing to get a plaque changed on the site from historic battle site to historic massacre site. It had taken them 100 years to get that plaque changed. And if you look in Wikipedia today, you will still see references to the Battle of Wounded Knee, when in actual fact it was a massacre. And this is... Just check the tuning. This is a song about that. I just was appalled by what I read. And this is as faithful a rendition of what happened as I can manage. It's called Ghost Dancing. I was singing this when I first came to Australia, and I remember singing it at Fairbridge Festival with a bevy of wonderful musicians playing alongside me, and I managed to forget the chorus. You'll see.
2 words, ghost
dancing.
But you were singing it, interestingly, when you were at Fairbridge Festival at Jarrah, which is the site of a massacre in Western Australia of Indigenous people.
That's right.
So there was a particularly strong energy.
It was. On a bitter cold December day, the last of the Sioux laid their weapons down, and with Bigfoot stood under a flag of truce, surrounded by U.S. cavalry. There were sad old men, children too, and babies at their mother's breast, and the few young braves watched helplessly as the troopers went from tent to tent. How the long nights laughed when the old men danced, and they called to the sky for delivery. Then a rifle cracked, and the shadow of death fell across the fields of Wounded Knee. Whoa, whoa, ghost dancing. Whoa, whoa, I see them still. Whoa, whoa, South Dakota is murdering your black down hills. Well, they shot the old men, the young men too. Shot the children when they tried to run. Shot the mothers and all of their babies. Kept on firing till the deed was done. And the gun smoke rolled all across the plain. So began deed that you couldn't see. So a few escaped that bloody place, while the officers drank the victory. Then they dug a long trench, all the frozen dead, and they posed beside austerity. Then they cut them all up behind a ridge, a red man sits, dispossessed, all but destroyed by a pioneer spirit and the invisible chains of a material world that he can't avoid. Now there's a lot of loose talk about human rights in the cursed East for its wounds and scars, but from where I sit, I have to say it's hard to tell just who the good guys are. Whoa, ghost dancing. Whoa, I see them still. Whoa, South Dakota, murdering black and hills. Whoa, ghost dancing. Whoa, I see them still. Whoa, South Dakota, murdering black down hills. Murdering black down hills. There's murdering black down hills. Yes, how did I ever forget that chorus?
These things happen. In live performance, anything can happen. Frequently does.
It frequently does. As I mentioned, I was changing tunings a great deal back in those days and writing songs in different tunings, and I didn't write any of them down because I thought I'd be using them forever. And 30 years later, I could not remember the tuning that I wrote this next song in. So this is a sort of a, it's got all the same melody and it's got all the same sort of spacings and timings and all that sort of stuff, but it's not in the open tuning that I wrote it in because I had lost it in the midst of time. It's actually in a normal tuning, but I think it actually, for that, is actually the modern, the new arrangement of it actually works. You coming over to do something?
Oh, sorry.
You got carried away.
Sorry.
Just because he hasn't got a cowbell, honestly.
No, I was just catching up on reading your comments on my laptop here. Sorry, because it's a bit hard to see them on the phone screen there. So, just seeing that Di Lettuce was saying she first saw Jay supporting Fairport Convention back in 1991, and then was lucky enough to see him solo, and then as a duo later with Cath. Kind of lost touch then till last year, but loving hearing the music again. Isn't that great that we can reconnect over the miles? Yeah. And Martin up in Scotland has said, Jane, would you sing Naked? That's the title of a song. It's the title of a song. It's the title track of our second album as a duo. And he says, you sang this in the Wee Folk Club in Edinburgh the night we met 20 years ago. It was an amazing song. It is an amazing song, but I think we'll leave that until we do the Naked album concert. I won't say the Naked concert because that sounds wrong. Because we had the idea last concert, didn't we? That we should do a series on our duo albums.
Why not?
Next.
There's only 6 of them.
Why not? We'll just keep on going, shall we? So yeah, we'll save that for then, Martin. But thank you for remembering that song. What else is being said? I think we're all good. Thank you to everyone for your lovely comments.
There's this place in the UK called Brighton,
Anyone
down on
heard
the
of
south
it?
coast.
Yes. Brighton!
Sort of came to prominence because one of the kings of England, before he was a king of England, he was a prince regent, used to go down there with his mistress. And so it became very fashionable for people to go down there for a clandestine weekends.
A DW.
A DW. Dirty weekend for those people who don't know.
A dirty weekend. Some of our audience members are very innocent and they don't know what a DW is.
That's
Good
right.
for you.
And it's a funny place, Brighton. And anyway, I remember visiting there and seeing the palace and thinking to myself, oh, all these people who have come down here because of this palace and the connotations of being able to do something in secret. This is called Brighton Movies. She was a working girl, she said he'd stolen her self-control. I'm going to start that again. My fingers are going strudel. It's live. She was a working girl, she said he'd stolen her self-control. Against her mother's advice, each Friday night she'd go. She'd catch a train out in the rain. The lights would shine down at the end of the line. It's just another Brighton movie, just another Brighton movie in the making, in the making. He was a married man, unused to internal affairs. They meet in corridors or sometimes upon the stairs. He'd use an nom de plume to book a double run. They'd stay in modest hotels and ring reception bells. It's just another Brighton movie, just another Brighton movie in the making, in the making. The sea rolls in on another weekend. Hearts for sale or just giving away to acquaintance never met. It was a summer affair, by autumn it was done. All the lust and affection gone as fast as they come. Transferred away, nothing more to say. She walks the sand, searching for romance. It's just another Brighton movie, just another Brighton movie, just another Brighton movie, just another And you still got flute.
I don't understand it.
I don't understand
but
it.
I just went, it's live performance, I will go with that.
I don't think it lost anything.
I don't understand. I'm gonna turn the whole thing off and reset it and see if it will behave itself, and then I'm gonna do some oom-pa music on the front. I don't know what happened. That never happened in rehearsal.
Not once.
Never once.
That's all right. That's
so
okay.
I don't understand it. Something weird is going on here.
Yeah. Not to worry. Okay.
Thank you.
Beginning of 1991, some folks over in Toronto in Canada have been very kind. There you go. There's your French horn. That would have fitted right in, Kath. Right in. So I went over to Toronto to do a tour of Canada. These folks had got in contact with a local agent, and he had been just so excited to have me over there. He was going to put a tour together for me, and the key element to the tour was that I was going to support Sting in the arena in Toronto. Yeah, that didn't happen. And the gigs that he did get were not to listening audiences. I would sometimes trudge through -20 of snow for hundreds of miles and get to a place where they only wanted to listen to songs they already knew by AC/DC. That happened quite a lot. Of course, my poor friends were so absolutely disappointed and distraught, and they blamed themselves, but nobody could have known that this guy was just, he wasn't really telling the truth. But anyway, we were, Bob and Mila and I were sitting there, and Bob was saying to me, you know, how do you write songs, you know? And I said, I don't know, mate. They just kind of come, and sometimes I wish they wouldn't, but they do. And he said, well, look, he said, I want you to write a song for me, and I want you to write it. This was like 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. He said, I want you to write it by tomorrow morning. That's the challenge. So I said, oh, okay, all right. So I said, well, all right, you've given me this challenge. What's the subject? Because, you know, I need a subject to do it. So he said, I'll tell you what, we've been so sick. We've got about half a dozen channels of TV coming at us out of the northern United States, TV evangelists. He said, and it's just, people get so bamboozled by these guys. They're so charismatic that they swindle people out of thousands and thousands of dollars. He said, so, you know, how about that? You like that kind of political stuff, don't you? So I said, yeah, okay. I said, well, you know, what okay, that's really bad. What's your nightmare scenario? Give me a nightmare scenario. And he said, well, I did think that maybe if the devil became a TV evangelist and started on one of these TV shows and became so popular that in fact everybody decided that he could go for being the President of the United States. This was 1991.
Oh, this is slightly prophetic of you, isn't it?
So I said, okay, well, I'll go away and I'll see what I can come up with. I think the reason why he said about these guys was because I'd seen a bumper sticker. That's right, I was driving through Toronto, and there was a bumper sticker, and it said, "Believe me, I'm not a TV evangelist." And I sort of mentioned this to Bob, and he said, "Yeah, this is what it is." And there are all these channels coming at them out of the northern United States, telling you how to get rid of your money the spiritual way. I said, okay, I'm going to run with this. The devil becomes an evangelist. Let's see where it takes us. And next morning at breakfast, I played him this. It's called On TV. The devil became an evangelist. He bought a slice of primetime TV. And everyone believed him when he said, reach salvation through me. His voice was seductive and his charm was was magnetic, and the millions came rolling in. And the more that he got, the longer the slot, and the primer his time on TV. On TV. On TV. On TV. And first it became a pop icon, and then he grew into a cult. He was beating the press and pressing the flesh and giving the posters a jolt. Well, he kissed all the kids and he waved the right flags. Nobody suspected a thing. His image was keen and his advice was astute. It was perfect marketing on TV. On TV. On TV. On TV. The cable networks set him up. Satellite stations too. He invested in the guilt of the nation, and they swallowed his point of view. But soon he was running for office, like some bygone star on the screen. Well, you could watch him going crazy at the rallies, mulling his stretch limousine on TV. On TV. Presidential suite. The lines were jammed in disbelief. There were people on the street. He said the strength of your faith and the size of your donations has given me the ultimate say. And it's only right that you get what you deserve 24 hours a day on TV. On TV. On TV. I got the multinationals in my pocket, and I got access to every fact. Got greed and corruption growing like a cancer, and a mountain of cocaine and crack. I got newsmen without any conscience, and I've got pollution flooding every shore. And you can't move an inch without your plastic ID telling me the score. On TV, on TV, on TV, on TV. I'll keep the old and the weak and the innocent living in abject poverty, while the lackeys of my system grow rich and obese on the menu of misery. And the devil shall take the hindmost, since you give I made the right. And I'll dance swiftly among the ruins of your lives and play hell every night on TV. On TV. On TV. On TV. Well, I woke up at the start and I lay there shaking, my whole body bathed in sweat. Sheets were twisted all around my legs, my pillow was soaking wet. Outside my window the birds were singing and the morning sky was clear. And I blinked in relief and I heard a voice say, thank heaven it can't happen here on TV. On TV. On TV. On TV. On TV.
So our grand finale features cowbell. And luckily this one can't change its sound on me. It is a cowbell, it is exactly what it says. I don't know why this thing didn't...
Fate.
It's such a nice French horn sound. Got to play it because I didn't get to play it. There, that was the solo that was supposed to happen.
You have to get it in somehow. Thanks very much, everyone, for joining us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure to have wonderful friends here in the audience tonight. And your wonderful company at home. Thank you so much for joining us. The show will be up for 72 hours, so if anybody who's not been able to catch it live, you'll be able to see it until sort of Monday or Tuesday, something like that, before it gets taken down.
And you can still donate to the concert. Hopefully,
can.
until that time, we've tried to figure out how to keep the Eventbrite link open because it kept on closing at 8:30 when the concert finished. But I think I've tricked it into keeping the Eventbrite link open, so you'll still be able to make a donation to the concert if you'd like to. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks a lot. There we are. The fourth concert in the series will be on the 31st of October, and it'll be slightly different time for Brisbane, but we'll keep it the same for the UK because we don't want you to have to get up too early. Aren't we good?
He's very
All right.
concerned about you getting your sleep in. British people, he thinks that you need to sleep in. Anyway, here we go.
This is called Love Millionaire.
Oh, it's a real workout playing cowbell.
Well, you asked for it. One song that wasn't on the I know you're not. One song that wasn't on the original album was a song that I was asked to contribute, or I was asked to make some contribution to a charity album which was put out by Hokey Pokey Records in 1991, and it was about the seasons of the year. So, being me, I thought, how do I get to be the first track on that album? Because
lots and lots of very illustrious artists were being asked to contribute to this fundraising album. So, you know, there was a lot of competition.
There was a lot of competition.
The top spot on the track list.
I know what I'll do is I'll write a song called The First Day of Spring.
They've got to put that first.
Got to put that first. Buggers put it second. But I guess it was meant, for me, it was meant to be a celebration of nature, a celebration of the of life itself. And springtime is just that wonderful time in the UK, at least, when everything starts to sprout and everything starts to begin to bloom, and doesn't come into full bloom until summer, of course. But all of the seeds are there, and this is what this particular song is about. And
the first time I ever went to the UK was in 1998, and it was springtime. It was early spring, and I was utterly enchanted, coming from the subtropics of Australia, with the daffodils and the tulips just sprouting out of the verges next to the car parks. It was just like, what? Over here, if there's daffodils and tulips, it's a special garden. It was just everywhere there, and I was just, I was delighted by the beauty of spring in the UK.
Host of stars on this particular song: Ricky Sanders, Chris Leslie, Kevin Dempsey, another magical guitarist, a great fan of his. Dave Wood did the engineering, and Bernard O'Neill was on bass.
It's a fantastic track, and we've actually included it on Atmavictu, even though it wasn't originally on Atmavictu. It's now in the digital re-release of the album. It's just come out on all of the digital outlets. And it's also included on Atmavictu in the box set of all Jay's 4 solo albums.
Which is still available, but only if you rock up and ask for one at the door.
Only if you can see us in person, because this box set of all 4 of his solo albums, it costs us so much to post that anywhere that we've stopped posting it anywhere. So if you're here tonight, you can get all 4 of his solo albums, and this song, The First Day of Spring, is on there.
That time of year when it's hard to decide on which clothes will keep out the weather. The season of changes and sudden high tides, and the tumbling of birds on the wing. I wandered the lanes as if drawn by some instinct in a reverie of distraction, unable to fathom the simplest of feelings. This, the first day of spring, I leant on a bridge over some swollen river and gazed into the deep waters. What should I see but a face beside mine, of the sweetest purity? The first day of spring, the first day. So long as I live, I'll remember I could gamble a fortune and lose everything, and still rest the first day of spring. She spoke in my ear in the softest of whispers. My heart leapt and hammered inside me. I stood there entranced by the smallest of gestures, a mischief that danced in her eyes. When she fell in my arms, it was all I Now we stand together on this river bridge, with the doors are grown since December, and I can see by her smile she knows only too well. She's a child of the first day of spring, the first day of spring, the first day of spring. So long as I live, I'll remember I could gamble a fortune and lose everything. Still bless the first day of spring, the first day of spring, the first day of spring. So long as I live, I'll remember I could gamble a fortune and lose everything. Still bless the first day of spring. Thank you kindly. See you next time. 2 weeks time.